This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix.
So, April.
Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God, thank you.
So when everybody's listening to this, it won't be St. Patrick's Day, but it is today while we're recording.
Aha.
And we couldn't think of any better movie than the only Shrek 2. We're like, he's green, it's close enough.
He's Scottish. I mean, it's in the same vicinity.
Yeah. You know, it's the same.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I thought I knew this movie a lot better than I did.
I was thinking of number 3, too, with the babies.
Yeah, like, I don't know why, but like a lot of this movie, I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot that happened. Apparently, because I always knew number 2. I'm pretty sure it's more popular than number 1. But I didn't remember anything about it. Like as we were watching, I was like, nope, don't remember that. Nope. The only thing I remember is Pinocchio when he's telling his false lies.
Oh, I love that. It definitely it just made me want to see part 1 again.
Me too.
Because part 1 is just so iconic.
Yeah, the whole time. Actually, while we were on our little break, I
watched clips.
Yeah, I watched the scene where they go to the castle for the first time, and it has a little song. For some reason, I thought this one had more of the gingerbread man in it. Like a lot more. But maybe that's 3?
Perhaps.
Because I feel like he's in it a lot in one of the movies. I was a little disappointed. He's probably like one of my favorite characters.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on this movie? Any particular parts that stand out to you?
I just kept thinking about part 1.
Right?
Yeah, it's just part 1 is so embedded in my brain.
Okay, this is what people need to do. They need to stop listening to this one. Go listen to Shrek 1 and let us know how you feel about it.
It was still an enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
It just wasn't iconic.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the reason why it was more popular is because by the time this movie came out, everyone was so in love with part 1. Because at that point, you had already seen it either in theaters, on TV, you had rented it. So more people were exposed to the movie. So that's why it did better in the box office.
Yeah, because it really did. It surpassed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it did $935 million in the box office.
And it was nominated for an Oscar. It was a big movie. And they even started production on this movie while they were working on the first one before it was even finished. So they knew they were going to do this second part already before the movie came out. I don't know why it just didn't stick with me, though.
I mean, I thought it was a nice twist that the fairy godmother was evil.
Right.
You know, it really shows about loving who you are and not having to change. And I really loved the message.
Yeah.
You know, but part 1 had just as good of a message as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I do love the relationship between Fiona and
her family?
No. Shrek. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. I kept wanting to say the ogre. With Shrek, I really like their relationship. I feel like it's pretty solid. She knew that the prince was not Shrek. Even though they told her over and over that, no, that's him. That's him. She was like, no, that's not the same guy.
Yeah.
And she wasn't swayed. And I like that.
So one thing I do remember is that when I first saw this movie, I just loved the cat in the boots.
Boots.
I loved Antonio Banderas' character. Yeah. And now watching it again, I was like, he was unnecessary.
Yeah, like he wasn't as big of a character as I thought he was. I guess it's in the third one that he's much bigger.
Like in this one, he was a villain for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I owe you a life debt. You know? And
he saved her.
I feel like the most important part he played was at the end when they're breaking into the castle and he sacrificed himself to like let them get away. And then what I love about his secret power is like his little kitten puppy dog eyes. He looks so cute.
So cute. I don't even like cats and I thought it was cute.
I love kitty cats.
Yeah.
They're so soft and purry.
Well, speaking of pets, so the donkey, the whole time, like, I don't know why it reminds me of my dog. Just like the goofy things it does and the way it follows Shrek around.
Yeah.
I was like, this totally reminds me of my dog. And like, if she could talk, she would do exactly what Donkey was doing. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
So one part that I thought was interesting was, you know, Donkey and Shrek drank the potion. Yeah. And as long as you kiss your true love before midnight, you know, you guys would stay that way forever. Yeah. He never once thought or considered to kiss the dragon.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I wondered what the dragon looked like.
So, while we were on our break, I was looking up information and it said that she was supposed to have a much bigger role in this movie and that she was going to be a Pegasus.
Ooh.
So when he drank the potion, she was going to turn into a Pegasus. But I guess they scrapped it for whatever reason and then we never saw her.
They could have at least showed like she just barely arrived.
Yeah.
And then it turned midnight. You know, I would have loved to have seen her at least. So, although, I mean, a dragon is kick-ass.
Yeah. I do like how he turned into this beautiful horse.
Yes.
He was prancing around
and then he immediately fakes getting runned over and then he starts saying, I'm blind.
I have to say Donkey is probably one of my favorite characters.
Yes.
All of it.
In that same scene when they kidnapped the driver or the chauffeur and they put Shrek in his outfit and the puss and Donkey, they're like, oh, you look great. You look fine. You look great. And then it pans over to him and they just bust out laughing. I love that.
My thing is Fiona and Shrek got married in the first one. Her family didn't know?
I figured, well, from watching this movie, I thought, well, maybe they figured now that the spell is broken because of true love's kiss, you know, like when they wake up tomorrow, they'll be human. You know, maybe they did the old school honeymoon where you literally leave at the end of the ceremony. So, yeah.
Because I was just like, how did they not know that they got married? And then also, she's married.
Got married.
She can't marry this other guy. She's married.
Well, it was a ball.
Yeah, but they were supposed to get married, but she was still married to Shrek. So
I thought it was more like renewing a vow.
I mean, they did think it was Shrek, I guess. So that would be the reason, but still, it's just very weird.
I have to say though, I did not think Shrek was hot. He didn't do it for me.
No, not as hot as they were portraying him to be.
Yeah, no. I still think Prince Charming is probably a hot one.
Yeah, and he's not even that hot either.
No, he's not.
I feel like Justin's character in the third one is better looking, but I can't remember. I don't know. Speaking of Justin, they have a part where it says Sir Justin.
Because they're in her childhood bedroom.
Yeah, and she has a poster on her wall. And I read that they didn't know that Cameron Diaz and Justin had started dating when this came out. And so that's why they put it on there, just to be funny. But they didn't know that. And then I guess that's why he got the job for the third one, because they were dating.
Oh.
Ooh, nepotism.
Are you a nepo baby?
Nepo boyfriend.
Oh.
Let's see here. Oh, I like...
You know, in Korea, the term for like a nepo baby is a parachute, because you just dropped in. Yeah. Like, I know this one guy, his name is Mir. He was in M Black. His sister was like, I don't know if she was an actress, maybe before or after, but she was, you know, like on the C list. Anyway, she married like this part owner of like this music label that was starting up. And then that's how her brother ended up getting picked into this boy band.
Oh, wow.
I love M Black back in the day. But anyways, they used to always make fun of him, calling him a parachute, because he just dropped in.
Was he good?
I liked him. He was a rapper. He was cute, you know?
Hey.
Yeah, like, I mean, he was pulling his weight, you know?
That's good.
So, yeah, it wasn't like he was talentless. So... He was cute. He was one of my favorite ones. Him and June, when they were together, oh my gosh, they were like a riot.
First, when you said June, I was like, your brother?
Yeah. June is a very common name in Korea.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, June, my brother.
So I put this note. They're doing like a montage of their honeymoon. And at one point, Little Red Riding Hood came to their door, and they scared her, and she runs off and leaves her basket. And I want someone I can steal a picnic basket with.
They didn't steal it. She left it at their doorstep. Yeah. So how could they not? Like, they can't let that food go to waste. They might as well go on a picnic.
True. It would be wasteful. And I also put Spider-Man kiss, because when he gets lifted in the air and he's just hanging there upside down, she gives him a kiss. I was like, girl, that's from Spider-Man.
I think everything from this movie is from somewhere.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
It's all plagiarized. All of it. I've seen all of those characters.
I like that even the ogres have problems with in-laws. That just goes to show it doesn't matter if you're human or not.
One thing that I love is there are so many like fairy tales and stuff that there is still so much they can still pull from.
Yeah.
You know? So I liked that.
Let's see here. Oh, I like that there's a lot of Beauty and the Beast in this movie.
I was wondering if they were going to come back to that flower and if that meant anything.
Yeah, they never brought that back, which is really weird.
Yeah. And I figured like the whole country would turn into swampland, and that's why it started raining, because, you know, that's what would make him happy.
Yeah. Like,
okay, fine, we could be human, but I still want to live in a swamp. And I'm okay with my castle being in a swamp.
Let's see here. Oh, I love that her diary as a kid, she put Mrs. Fiona Charming.
I was waiting for it to say Mrs. Prince Charming. Or like Fiona Ann Prince.
Yeah. But she didn't. Did you use
Clearly a guy wrote it, because he didn't know like all the different ways girls write their names like that.
Right? Did you ever do that?
Of course.
You wouldn't get this reference because you haven't seen the movie, but in The Wedding Singer, Drew Barrymore's character, her name is Julia, and she's marrying this guy, and his last name is Agulia. So she goes, thank you for coming to this wedding. And she's like, I'm Mrs. Julia Gulia. Like, until that moment, she didn't realize how stupid it sounded because Adam Sandler's character earlier goes, Julia Gulia. Like, laughs about it.
Like Marcy Darcy.
Yeah. And then as she's standing there in the mirror, looking at herself, she decides to add his last name instead. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, look in the mirror and she's like, I'm Mr. and Mrs. Robbie Hart. She's like, I'm Mrs. Hart. And then he sees her in the mirror in her dress doing this and thinking that she's talking about Mr. Gulia and not him. So it just kind of reminded me of that.
I saw a tweet recently and they were like, you know what we should do? He was like, I was at a recent wedding for my friend and her last name is such a unique and fucking kick-ass last name. Uh-huh. And she's deciding to change her name to Smith. Ugh. How boring is that? And he was like, we should do a thing where all the wedding guests should vote on which name both people should take. And I was like, oh my God, yes, that is a great idea. And then the other people would be like, it wouldn't be fair. What if one side of the family had more people there? And I was like, oh, you're right.
Well, if I was to get married, I would 100% take their last name. Because I don't care for mine. I don't like it.
I personally love my last name.
Yeah.
It is not very common.
Yeah.
But it's easy to read, easy to write, easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
I can't see myself changing my name. Like, it would have to be a kick-ass name. And honestly, I would make my last name into my middle name since I don't have one.
Oh, there you go.
I wouldn't hyphenate it because that's just too long.
Yeah.
But I would move it over and then do that. So that way I could still be me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't mind people keeping their last name or hyphenating or whatever. I just think it's weird when people are like, well, we're going to mix our names together. No, that's not how that works. Like, either pick their last name or your last name, but none of this like hybrid name. That's just weird.
You know what? I personally rather have a blended name instead of a hyphenated name because that's just too much. It is too much.
Yeah, I don't like hyphenated names. Not a huge fan of that, but I'd rather have that than a mixture name. If you must. But I just think take either or name.
It's just so much. It's so long.
But I would say, like, personally, this is just me. This is not everybody else. It's just me. Either A, you both have his last name, or A, you both have her last name. None of this is your last name, that's your last. It's just too, like, if you're planning on having kids, I would do the same last name. If you're not having kids and it's just going to be the two of you, then who gives a shit? But I think for the kids, I would make sure we had the same last name because it's just kind of confusing to them.
Again, my kids would have my last name as their middle name.
Well, there you go.
Just have the best of both worlds.
It's the best of both worlds.
And then they could use it however they want.
Yeah.
They could use it in full or make it an initial, but it's there.
Ta-da.
Yep.
Would it be a part of their middle name or just their app?
Just the middle name. That's what it's going to be.
All your kids are going to have the same middle name.
I didn't even have a middle name. Okay, they should be lucky that they have one.
It's going to be like a George Foreman sort of situation. They're all named George.
Hey, I'm not giving them a long ass hyphenated name. Okay.
Yeah.
If I won't give that to myself, I won't do that to them.
Hello, I'm Chris from Cinematic Anarchy.
And this is Nicole.
Do you like your podcast tightly written, well scripted, with witty banter and tons of information?
Well, this isn't the place for you, sweetheart. We are a very discombobulated group of weird-ass folks, but it's a lot of fun. Usually we don't know what we're doing. There's no script, there's no plan, but it's a lot of fun. Tune in.
And zone out listening to us on any one of your favorite podcasting platforms.
Let's see here. We talked about Puss.
Or you know what?
And Boots.
I wouldn't give them a middle name. That way, especially the girls. That way, if they want, they could do what I did.
There you go.
Bam.
Well, bam.
Bam. Problem solved.
So they go and they steal some potions, and they say they're at like the Keebler elves cottage, I guess. Building. And they go inside, and apparently I never noticed this, but some of the pills that they're doing or potions is their brand of Viagra. Is what it said on the
No.
I was like, whoa. That was surprising. I didn't notice that. I was playing with the dog when that happened. So
I don't understand why when they were in the potions room that, okay, fine. Puss was up on top looking at the shit on top. Yeah. Why wasn't Shrek also looking at the stuff at the bottom?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I don't know.
You know, why don't you take more than one potion? Yeah. You know, be like, oh, this one's interesting. It'll grow hair. You know, like, oh, this one's interesting.
Well, you know, I actually can commend them for just taking the one. They could have taken all this others. They could have had money. They could have had fame.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You don't know what you're going to find up there, right? There is no guarantee that in the short amount of time they had, they were going to find what they needed. So you should have backup plans. Be like, well, if I can't, you know, win my happily ever after, I'll have an awesome locks of hair. You know, like start thinking of plan B, C, D, E.
Yeah, I'm sort of surprised that A, Donkey, and B, Puss in Boots didn't steal a different one. Like they seem like people who would have taken an extra potion.
I could see Puss, but Donkey doesn't have hands.
That's true.
And he already had his mouth full with the important one. So.
Very true.
Yep.
Yeah, because I don't think Shrek would.
I feel like Puss looks like one of those honorable crooks type thing.
Could be.
Like, you know, like, yeah, I'm an assassin, but I don't kill women and children type thing. You know, like he has morals.
But it would have been so easy for him to just slip it in his boots.
Oh.
You know?
Maybe in the third movie, something will pop out.
Maybe.
Let's
see here. Oh, so one thing I really liked is when they go to the ball and Tom Thumb and Thumbelina are walking down and then someone comes and sweeps them up.
That was cute. I liked it.
I was like, oh, that's so funny because they're so tiny. And I liked that the king saved his daughter because he was supposed to give her a potion that was supposed to make her fall in love with Prince Charming. And he realized that she's in love with Shrek and that he couldn't do that to her.
What I don't understand is he's the king.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just lock her up and throw her in the dungeon?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, like, yeah, just get rid of the threat. The end.
It's very weird.
And how did she end up with a prince as a son? Who was she banging?
Yeah, right? I was wondering how that worked. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, how did this fairy lady get the prince?
Yeah.
You know? And also, if Fiona had met him before, because clearly she's written him in her diary. Why wouldn't they have gotten married like as soon as she was old enough to get married?
I was under the impression that she hadn't met him.
Well, she wrote about him in her diary.
Doesn't mean anything. That's just stories. Like, yes, princess, one day you're going to meet your prince. You know, he's Prince Charming. That's his name. You know, kind of like arranged marriages, but you know, you're planting the seed. You're telling them like, this is who you're going to end up with. This is, you know, this is your person.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Because it's clear that the fairy godmother always lived in town.
Yeah.
But I guess the son, her kid, like, was off to boarding school?
Probably. He seems like it.
Princing school? How to be a prince.
You got to go to school for that.
Yeah, you do. Finishing school.
There's not an app for that in 2004, you know? You have to go to finishing school. I like that the king is actually a frog.
Oh, once that happened, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Once it happened, I thought he was going to be an ogre. And I was like, oh, that makes sense why she's an ogre. Now it does make sense again. I mean, I guess they're both green.
I mean, for her, it was a curse.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Mm-hmm.
Why did she get cursed?
Probably something the dad did.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. But he was a really cute frog, as frogs go.
He was. It kind of made me want to watch The Princess Frog, too. I hear they're making that into a live action, too.
Yes.
I'm excited about that one.
The next one is...
I feel like that one, they could actually film it in New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because it's a real place. Mm-hmm. That would look really nice, too, because they have so much old... like original structures there. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, the next one that's coming is Little Mermaid.
I'm excited about that. Yep. I accidentally saw the little teaser and it looks very promising.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. I'm excited.
Yes.
I'm excited. I thought it was going to be either her or Lizzo. And so I'm down. I was down for either one of them and I can't wait.
I think I showed you once about that one guy who was playing Ursula. Like he actually auditioned for it and he did a banging job with
Is he the guy that does the makeup on TikTok?
I don't know. I haven't come across that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I love him. So,
I keep seeing something about Anastasia as well.
I heard about that too.
I want to see that.
Yes.
It's one of my favorites. My sister acted like she'd never heard of it before.
What I thought was revolutionary about Anastasia was it was the first like cartoon that was not a Disney product. Yeah. And it was like, I remember the way she was drawn and it was so different.
Yeah. It was more lifelike.
Yeah. Like they really, like for the 90s, you know, and I loved that movie so much.
I love it too. It's one of my favorites. And I love the songs. I love the whole thing, the story.
Oh, I love the story too, especially the end. You know what? We'll save that. We'll probably watch that and compare.
Yes.
Okay.
Moving
on.
I like the giant gingerbread.
Yes.
That was fun. I wish she had giant gingerbread buttons, gumdrop buttons. I didn't see that. Where were they? I missed the buttons. The gumdrop buttons.
It was so sad when he like started dissolving and then the little
I was like, Wilson!
And then the little gingerbread was on top of him and I was like, oh my God, they're both gonna die. But he got rescued.
Yes, he did get rescued. Yeah, all I could think is Wilson, no.
It was so sad.
how we form attachment to inanimate objects.
My God.
Like Forky in Toy Story.
Yes, I loved him. Poor little thing. Like he was like, I'm an abomination. What have you done to me? I'm a fork, a spork.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was like, no.
I loved Forky.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, this has really nothing to do with it, but I must mention it.
Okay.
So I watched a TikTok yesterday, and it was, you know, those sticky notes that are stuck.
Seen it. The Slinky.
Yes. Oh my God.
I was so mad. I was so mad. Like it's doing its thing and I guess it's going too slow and the guy touches it. I was like, why did you touch it? No,
that's not the one I saw.
No. He cut it off. It's that one where like it's going and it's not going fast enough. So he touches it so it'll go faster and then it cuts off and then you have to go to part 2 to see the ending. And then it like knocks off half of the sticky notes.
Oh, that's not the one I saw.
Oh,
the one I saw is it's like a huge stack.
Yeah.
And it's going. And right when it's almost to the end, he stops the video. And then people were like, ways to like ruin people's day for 1,000, Alex. And so he does part 2, but it's not the whole thing either. I was like, what the hell, man?
I'm sure it's the same guy.
Yeah. And it was going like, first it was kind of slow and then it like really picked up.
Yeah.
And I was so excited.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. And I was like, no.
Yes. It cut off. It was like 5 colors, right?
Yeah.
I think like 3 colors had dropped when the video cut off. And then I had to go see part 2 where it starts off again with the last 2 colors.
Yeah.
But only 1 color fell before it snapped.
Ugh.
And then I'm left with like the last color on the desk and all the rest on the floor. And all I'm thinking is, I need to go buy these sticky notes and do this right.
So I actually have some at my desk and I didn't think about it today, but I really should have.
No, but do you have the colored ones?
I just have a stack of yellow.
No,
but
it has to be. It has to be the colored ones.
Yeah. I was like, man, I really want that.
Yeah. And personally, I kind of hate those sticky notes because like it's only good if you have the dispenser.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the dispenser, I'm very annoyed because you never know what end the sticky is on.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Like
it's very annoying. I use so many sticky notes a day. So I was like, man, I really want that. I wouldn't get any work done. I would just watch that at least once. Just
No. You know what you should do? You should go around and be like, hey, look, I got new sticky notes. And they'll be like, yeah, that's great. You want to see a trick? And you're like, no, Sarah, I'm really busy. No, here, let me show you. And then you do it. And then you don't let them like look away until it's done. Or if it messes up, be like, hold on, let me start over.
Let me start this over.
And then you just move from section to section, just like a tour. You're going on the road.
Yes.
I'll get a stock too, and we'll work on each end and we'll meet in the middle. Oh my gosh, we could have a sticky note battle. Yes, a duel to see which one goes the fastest and won't snap.
I love it.
Oh my God.
I was like, man, I really want to go buy some of those.
Dude, I will be in its vicinity tomorrow and I'll be looking at those prices like, is it worth it?
Right.
Like, honestly, like, I will have to buy the dispenser. I will have to, because if not, I'm going to hate them so much.
I think I have the dispenser at work.
You do?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if it works for the back-to-back or if it works for the regular. That would be the question. I think it only works for the regular.
Oh.
Yeah. anything else about this movie?
I enjoyed it, but it wasn't memorable.
Yeah.
Like
I'm a little disappointed because I've been waiting to do this one.
Yes.
And I almost waited until next year because next year's the anniversary.
Next year we'll do part 3.
Okay.
For the anniversary.
Yeah, because like I thought this one had more stuff in it, more like funny things, and it was the better one. Because a lot of times number 2s are always better than number 1.
Yeah, they've worked out the kinks.
But this one, definitely not.
I personally feel that Austin Powers 2 was the best one.
Yes.
Like the first one, in comparison, was entertaining. It was good.
Yeah.
But number 2, they perfected the jokes from number 1.
Yeah.
And the jokes had gone stale by the time they got to part 3. So they were just right in part 2.
Yeah, I think I love part 2 the most.
Oh my God, I loved it so much.
So good.
Yes.
We need to watch that.
Yes, I agree.
And I told you I started listening to the two guys, Dana Carvey and David Spade, right?
Yes, you did. You mentioned that. They talk about their SNL stories, and you were trying to encourage me to listen to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a 2-part episode with Mike Myers. I haven't listened to that one yet. But I'm gonna. I was like, I don't know what kind of Mike Myers I'm gonna get. And I don't know which one I want. Like, do I want someone who, you know, I know from all of his bits and movies, or do I want just regular Mike Myers? I don't know.
I feel like I would want regular Mike Myers because if I wanted the other content, I would just go to those mediums.
Do you know
the Muffin Man?
No, who's on Truly Lane? That someone inspired his Dr. Evil. Do you know who that is?
No,
it's Lorne Michaels.
Really?
Yes. So,
because he sits there and judges, right?
So everybody who's been on SNL, who has come on their podcast that I've listened to, does their own version of Lorne Michaels.
Ooh.
And they all sound exactly the same. Oh. And they all sound like Dr. Evil.
I feel like you just said the winning combination of words to pique my interest in this podcast.
Yeah, it is so funny. Even I told you the girl was on there, and she even did her own version of Lord Michaels. But like all the guys that have done it sound exactly the same. Ooh. Like it's crazy how well they all can do his voice. And I'm excited to listen to Mike Myers because I'm sure it's going to be even more like it because obviously he did the movie. But yeah, that's why it sounds like that.
Okay.
And when Will Ferrell was on, and he was telling Lauren that he was quitting. He's like, "Well, we're gonna go to lunch, and you know, we'll talk." So he goes to lunch, and he was like, "So you're gonna stay on, and we're gonna extend you for another 2 years." And he's like, "Yeah." No, that's not what I'm going to do. And he goes, no. So you want to stay and you want to leave when you're past your peak. Like you don't want to go beforehand. And he goes, no, I think that would actually be worse. Like I need to go now. And he's like, but do you? It was whole conversation. It was so funny. And they were all doing his voice. It just sounded like Dr. Evil, but it was so funny. But, well, what would you rate this movie then?
A 7 out of 10. Nobody was being tortured in this movie. That was one of my favorite parts is like when they're all like getting their magic taken away. I love that scene from the first movie. And there was no tortures in this one.
It was not. Well, sorta. They had them strung up in the hole.
It's not the same.
No,
it's not like the sexy times being tied up in a dungeon. What was it? Somebody was like, ooh, what kind of torture? Like the fun, sexy torture?
So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I thought this one was better than it is.
Yeah. Hopefully the third one will, I don't know.
Yeah.
We watch part 3 and then be like, you know what?
Part 2 was great. I really loved part 2.
Not only that, we'll be like, dude, let's just watch part 1 again. Now that we've seen them all, we should do that. Okay. So next year we'll watch part 3, and then the year after we'll just come back around. No, we can watch Shrek Christmas.
I tried to do that this year, but we should. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay.
Yeah,
we have a few years left of us on this
Shrek journey.
Exactly.
I think they have a ton of movies actually.
Oh, those
I'm sure
straight to video.
Yeah, I'm sure they're worse, but you know.
Okay. Let's just make this our yearly Shrek
endeavor.
Yes.
All right. Well, since we have nothing else, where can they find us, April?
Two Chicks Talking Flicks over on Instagram.
You can find us at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks at Gmail.
Guess what? We have a Facebook, Two Chicks Talking Flicks.
And you can find some of our funny content at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks on TikTok.
Yes.
Because we don't stop.
No, we don't.
All right, guys. Well, until next time.
Toodles.
Bye. This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Giravoni. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.